things work. Hello! Hello! Hi, Kanji. Are you being a good boy? Hello! Alright, so things... I'm gonna have to switch the song at some point. I wanted to have Don't Starve music, and then I was like, oh, the music's a little intense sometimes. But I might switch over to one of those. Because this ragtime song will make me go... Hello, the creator. Swap over that. Start from there. Alright. So yes, tonight, I am making some honey nuggets from Don't Starve. And Jeff's very excited for these. Because I don't make a lot of fried food usually. And so a stream gave me a good enough reason to. So, if you are interested in the recipe, it is found on my website, Pixelated Provisions. I do have a nice little link to the exact recipe. Hey, Purple Coffins. Thank you so much for that little shout out today on Twitter. I saw that you found my website, and I can't wait to see what recipes you end up making from there. I have a lot of options there now. So, okay. This recipe does take a little bit. I just could have the recipe up so I could see what I need to do. Because I made these a while back, so it's been a bit. But these are homemade, essentially chicken nuggets with a bit of honey in them, and then a nice little like honey mustard sauce that we're gonna make from scratch. Kanji's being grumpy right now because it's 20 minutes away from his dinner, so he's like, "Oh my gosh." Oh, you haven't been? There's a lot. Okay, so if you've not been to a cooking stream before, below there is a team that I'm a part of called the Bone In team. And it's a bunch of us. There's a bunch of cooking streamers out there. So, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of us that are out there doing it. Yeah, the dangerous thing with cooking streams in general is being hungry when you start watching them, because there should be food. But, alright. Since this one there's a few points where I do have to let that rest in the freezer to get it structured together. I do need to start a bit quickly. You want to get knowledge on how like cooking works in general, I'm guessing? Because I could definitely give you some tips on that. Or are you thinking of starting some cooking streaming yourself? So with this recipe, if you want, you can get pre-ground chicken and use that. I have found that if I do grab like whole pieces of chicken, I can control the ratio of the white meat and the dark meat. Hey, Volsey. So I'll give you some minor tips on that. So it took me a little bit to start. Like, I've been cooking for years and years. But starting the honey nugs, starting the streaming took a little bit. The biggest suggestion I have is even if you have one webcam, just go with it. Sound can be tricky. So, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely worth just looking around, seeing what different people are doing. I consider myself a very beginner. I know how to cook. I know how to definitely take photos of recipes, but the streaming thing is still a little new to me. One camera, and of course the other camera currently being used by my lovely assistant Kanji. Let's be real, that's why everyone's here. yeah, feel free to ask any questions of things that I might be doing or why I might be doing that, or going, I haven't seen that before. You sure you want to be doing that? I'm always taking suggestions, trying to figure out how I can get better. Okay. So, in my recipe, I call for 6 chicken thighs and 2 chicken breasts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly 6 chicken thighs. We will deal with the sauce later because during the resting periods, that's when we'll do that. So I'm going to just put everything into the food processor. Not everything. The meat first. We're not going to clean it up or anything. We want, unless it looks real funky. Or there's too large of like skin and fat chunks. Blah. Okay. So if you are going to do your own grinding of the meat, I found that a food processor works really well. So no need to get like a grinder. Oof. Oof. Now I have chicken all over my hands. It's a 2. So I will have an extra chicken breast. Because for some reason, at my local grocery store, they only come in sets of 3. That's the smallest set. Which doesn't make sense, because if you get like a whole chicken, usually 2 breasts on there, so it's like, eh. So I'll put this one piece away. Now the hardest part of this recipe is probably the patience to like have it all sit and come together. And the other part, maybe the frying, if that spooks you a little bit. But it's not too bad. It's usually, as long as you have everything under control and you have like a cover nearby that you're worried, it'll be safe. I don't do it too often because it's a whole thing. So it's a bunch of mess, and it's a bunch of like just dealing with that cleanup afterwards. So, as my recipe says, I've put this in the food processor, and I'm going to process it until it starts to resemble ground meat. Now, we're going to do another grind after we add the extra spices in. But let me make sure this doesn't get too loud. Yeah, so you can see some of it is sticking at the top. So I'm gonna give it, I think most of it. It's a good starting point. So I'm gonna add the other ingredients. So that's basically everything else that needs to go in there for seasoning. Now, in my wisdom, I did not grab onion powder. Because I think a few streams ago, I had the container break and then I've forgotten to replace it. So, see. I will probably, since I'm probably just going to add additional garlic powder and it'll be fine. So, onion, garlic. Oh no, the song's back. Gonna just add a little extra since we don't have the onion powder. And then I have celery salt in here, which has salt and celery seeds. Now, in Chicago, this is a very, very popular ingredient to have added to hot dogs. If you get like you go to a place in Chicago, this will typically be on there. I remember always growing up and being like, no, I don't want it. Add a little extra again because we're out of not having that onion powder. The webcam I have, look at it. What is it? It's a Logitech. So this one right here is my Logitech. Jeff, do you remember what webcam it is? Jeff's gonna pull it up for me. I'm like, I know it's a Logitech one. The one on Kanji is one that we got years ago, and it's super cheapo. Yeah, a little bit of extra salt, because the celery salt has some. And then pepper. One about a teaspoon, so go a little longer. It's like I see something. Nope, forgot the honey. Forgot one of the more important parts of the recipe, the honey. Oh, there we go. Jeff has placed it in the chat. So it's a C922 Pro Stream webcam. I don't know what the background replacement technology is talking about, but sure. I have it all connected to Streamlabs OBS, because I know there's regular OBS, but this one, Streamlabs, I found to be much more user-friendly, at least in my little head. A 4th cup. As I try to destroy everyone's ears. Alright, so honey is going to come through in 2 places in this recipe, both with this addition in here, in the actual nugget itself, and then in the sauce. So you want to make sure when you're removing this that you get all the honey out of here. It's better that you overdo the honey than underdo the honey. So we want that flavor kind of in there. Some are so short. Alright, there we go. And keep this nearby. I know. Alright, so this microphone that I got, and I know you're gonna ask me, I could get you, if you do send me a DM, I could DM you like the information for this mic. I found out it does a really good job of containing the sounds. I originally, the one day I did it, I was using the webcam mic, and that was a huge mistake. If I know I'm gonna make a really, really, really big sound, because I have a little pack here, I could hit mute, and then it'll stop it for the most part. So let me know if this is too loud. I don't think it should be, but it's definitely gonna pick it up. Now, another note with sound stuff, something I try to do before I start streaming is I try to gather all of my pots and pans out of my, like, wherever their homes are. Yeah, I was, one of my fellow streaming buddies, Lilaboo, I saw her streams, and I kind of did what you did, where I just messaged her, and I was like, "Oh, your streams sound really good. What are you using?" And she sent me the link to the one that she currently had been using at the time, and it made such a difference, a real big difference. So this is done. Tub of meat. We can get rid of this. Let me see. I've seen other streamers have it set up where they'll have like a Blue Yeti or something kind of set up, but that will pick up the sounds pretty loudly. Um, Now, one of the negatives of how quiet this one can be, if my husband Jeff comes around and starts talking, it's not going to pick him up as well, because it is very. I'm gonna get your voice and your voice only, to not get any of the other sounds. Oh, I need to measure. Whoops. Almost time, Kanji. He's so grumpy. So I am going to crumble, crumble, crumble. Turn this on, because I want to weigh out the little portions of this. Now, one thing I am going to do, this first step only requires you to do them into little balls, because they're, at this point, the texture here is pretty it's getting warmer as we're working with it, so you want to make sure to kind of give it a moment of rest. I am going to take the blade out, because as I get lower, we're going to get closer to that, and the last thing we want is an accident. So safety first in the kitchen when working with sharp objects. So I want these each to roughly be around 32 to 35 grams. So I do have a kitchen weighing device. I'm going to split them and just make them into a little circle. Once they're a little chilled, we're going to come back and then smoosh them to make them more into that classic nugget shape. So yeah, how has everyone's day been? My day today was better than yesterday. Yesterday there was a wasp in our bathroom. And I do not do well with bugs. It was a very quick, that is definitely a wasp on the wall. Let's just burn it down. We're done here. We're moving. Luckily Jeff was here at the time, so he bravely dealt with it. I'm like, someone... Yeah, you can feed Kanji. So yeah, you can see as I'm working with this, it is a little difficult to work with because it is on the warmer side, so we're going to definitely put it in the freezer and let that relax for a bit. No. He knows roughly when it's dinner time, and the moment he hears not always any water. You were doing the dishes and he didn't. But at around this time, if he starts hearing water, he's like, oh my God, it's time. Let me go in my kennel. I didn't see him. Dungeons and Raids. You finished the main Heaven's Ward arc, right? We'll see. I'm going to make sure. Yay! You got your crafters all at 50. Yeah, I finally had unlocked the Mog. Some of this did not grind like I wanted it to. The creator, thank you so much for the follow. Whoop. 34. So yeah, I finally unlocked the Mogs, I think last week. So now I'm like, I can get my culinarian up while still being kind of productive-ish. And not having to buy, like, resources to level this class up. It's real Vicky and real Jeff. Real life individuals. Hello, Provoking a Storm. I know, I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, is this someone we know? Okay, so it is someone we know. Okay. Actually, I think look at my Twitter. I feel like... That's vague.
No, it's
Pete? Is this Pete? Which one? There's a few. I'm like so confused. I'm confused. Well, see, no. So we did say Pete. Yeah, he was like defrag. I'm assuming yes. Okay. Yeah, but I'm like I don't want to say that out loud. And what's up? It's been a while. It's been a long time. This is us. It's been a few years. Oh, the creator. Thank you so much for stopping by. And yeah, and hopefully we'll see you around. If you have any questions, DM me. Feel free to. We are doing pretty good. Doing cooking stuff now and, you know, usual normal work stuff here in Houston, Texas. Are you still up in Chicago? I do have a cookbook. I made the Fallout cookbook. The official Fallout cookbook, which came out last October. Oh, congratulations on the house. No, there was only one in my room. Yeah, that was exciting to have that happen. Have a few chunks of chicken. Yeah, like I said, this is probably one of the more time-consuming parts where it's just like, and now I'm separating everything. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff, taking care of my wonderful assistant here. It's probably more interesting to look at than me, like, slowly scooping out chicken portions. That's why, if someone else was cooking with me. It's like, I'm done. Good night. Got nothing else going on. So, right now it is a little loose, but because it's ground chicken, it's pretty tight together. So what is going to happen, and this worked the time I made it for the website, is I'm going to put it in the freezer for like 10 minutes to be a little easier to handle. And then after that, I take it out and I'm going to put flour and stuff around it, and then it's going to freeze again. And then we're just going to fry it from there. There is a little bit of honey in there, so that kind of does help keep it all together. Oh, is that because you're putting Kanji's food there again? He's like, yes, please. Yes, please. Just get a little kanji head. Everybody's here. Whoop. So are you, Pete, are you doing game development stuff or doing other kind of work nowadays? Whoop. My hands are so filled with chicken. Some of these are just becoming bigger than other ones because it's like slowly I'm like, oh, I just want to do it. Ah, you're at NetherRealm. First, congratulations. Doing mobile games. If you've been there that long, I assume the work is at least interesting to be doing. Ooh, any specific kind of tabletop gaming that you're looking, that's sparking your interest? There's so much chicken. And then even like rolling it into balls. Oh my God.
Gotta make 'em into boots.
Did you say make them into boots?
Yeah, it's like the chicken nugget shape.
Not yet. They have to be round first, and they have to freeze, and then they'll be boots.
That's why you're making the food. I feel like you should have gloves.
I probably should have, but you know, such is life. I guess at least it keeps it fresh, right? So. There's just chicken everywhere. Not really. Kanji's. He has his own chicken. Oop. Chicken. I don't know if there's gonna be enough room when we flatten them, but we'll make it work. It's the magic of figuring it out as we go. Oop, oop, oop. Dang it. Plops onto countertop. There. Get the last of this. Some of these are a little over. You look over. There we go. Perfect. So many nuggets. All right. Jeff, if you could carefully put that into the freezer. Yeah. It's doable. I measured it before before the stream started. But it might be a team effort here.
I got it. I'm just gonna hit the tripod.
Here, I'll hold the tripod so chat doesn't get tossed around. Careful, careful. Gently. One of the flaws with this setup is the fridge being right where it is. We did it.
Did you finish your unit?
So I know, like, Jeff and I, we do board games and whatnot, but not like I don't think we've done, well, no, we've never done like tabletop gaming. I mean, we played D&D a bit, but not much. 'Cause I feel like we've never been able to find a group that's like, I'll be the DM and continue this forever. We do a lot of board gaming, that's for sure. And as you mentioned, yeah, when you have the room, you can easily host things and have a place for people to come by, which is real nice. Alright, so I'm gonna clean this. Ah, see, that's nice. Yeah, I would imagine that is the case with a game development studio. Okay, so that's in there. I'm going to, and we've put it in the freezer for 10 minutes. So we want it to just get a little cold. Because the next step is we take it out and then we're going to put it in the flour potato starch mixture and then put it in for 20 minutes. I think at that point what I'll probably do is I want to roast some vegetables, which will be good. So right now, let me mix my... Actually, wait a second. I am smart. There definitely was supposed to be panko in there. It'll be fine. I even had it out. Look, it's right here. Panko. But it's not a lot. So it'll be fine. I'm reading my own instructions real well. It'll be fun. Jeff's looking at me like it's gonna fall apart. So much trust here. So I have this bowl. Half cup. So it's half cup of all-purpose flour, half cup of potato starch. The potato starch is not commonly used here stateside. It's more used in a lot of Asian cuisine, a lot more. And I kind of like the flavor of it, and it ended up working out nicely. So you might have a hard time finding it at a grocery store. Actually, not sure. I usually buy this at like the Japanese market across town. Wait. Keep making a mess everywhere. Alright, so we have that. I'm gonna give it a mix. And I'm gonna set this aside until I need it. So since I have the 10 minutes, no, less than that now, I am gonna mix up the sauce and then put that away until we need it later for eating. I think I need a slightly larger bowl than that. Grabbing a bowl. Honey, mayo, Dijon mustard, rice vinegar. If you don't have rice vinegar, you can use regular vinegar. I just like the flavor of rice vinegar. over regular white vinegar. Hanji is being so rude this evening. Mayo. Hanji, can you be a good boy? Maybe you'll get treats out of it, Seely. Seely. Okay. After they're all done up, let's see. We're going to want the oil at 350 and then it's about 4 to 5 minutes per side to make sure they get cooked all the way through. With it being ground meat, you want to definitely be careful because that can cause issues. But I mean, especially it's chicken. You don't want chicken to be undercooked. That's probably the worst thing you can do. Don't need people getting that salmonella. 1/4. I had a fourth at one point, but I think it was filled with chicken. No, it was filled with honey. Come back here. Come back here, fourth cup. It just had honey. I'm actually running low on mayo. So, yeah, if you find that you don't like mayo as much as, say, mustard, you can just switch. You could increase the number of one over the other one. I found that this nice combination of it allowed for something not too harsh and something that doesn't make it too strong. So I, for frying, like using peanut oil. That's typically what I use, especially when I'm doing heavy deep frying. It doesn't burn the stuff, and it holds up for long fries. So if I'm going to be frying a bunch of chicken, definitely works out nicely. Alright. So we have that. And just right now we have the Dijon mustard and the mayo. Going to be adding a little bit of garlic powder. Garlic just makes its appearance everywhere in this recipe. And then 1/3 cup of honey. Lots of honey. Again, they're honey nuggets, so we gotta make sure we get that flavor in there. 1/3 cup. Yep. Go ahead and get all of it. And this is calling for 2 tablespoons. I don't want to already mess this up. 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. Don't want to grab another things to have like a million cups out already. I'm just gonna carefully mix this. Yeah, so when I was younger, I definitely was into cooking. My mom did a lot of cooking in the house, so I was always interested in it. My parents did open a restaurant, and that taught me that I did not want to be in the restaurant business. So I took the other route of I'm gonna just kind of do some home cooking and enjoy it and figure recipes out and kind of share that with friends. I think the biggest thing that started this whole hobby of the food blog, and then that eventually led to the book, was when we moved down here to Houston. A lot of friends were like, "Oh, I eat out every day. I don't cook enough at home." So I started like gathering recipes that I was like whipping together and just putting them online just to be like, okay, here you go. And I was just doing generic stuff, not the video game connection. And I got bored with that. So then a year later, I did the website where I was like, okay, this is much more interesting. I have that other angle, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah. That's it. I respect people who work in the industry, and I'm definitely more patient for having been a part of it for my high school days. But I've seen what it does. That's good. That is good. And I think the biggest thing for me is I want to continue loving food. I think a lot of people who end up working in the restaurant business, owning a restaurant, don't cook much for themselves. So in a weird sense, this hobby is my way of, because ended up not going into the game industry. Just saw a lot of friends getting stressed and not having luck, and I was like, you know what, that's fine. And I have a pretty decent job down here doing contract work for NASA, and it just worked out that I was like, well, I want to contribute to the game industry somehow, so what better way than with food? I'm going to put this in the fridge, and now I'm going to carefully grab the chicken. A careful process. All right. Yeah, just that 10 minutes solidifies everything. And I'll be nice to myself this time and grab whoop. Do such a good job with the freezer not hitting the camera, and then hit it with this. Kanji, are you even in the No. Kanji's being useless right now. Out of the camera. Get out of your bed! Kanji, you gotta get out of your bed. He's sometimes really good about it, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to stay on camera all day. And then other times he's like, nah, I'm good. So it's a little more solid. So all I'm going to do is just gently press to give it that nugget shape. Make sure. I'm going to make a nugget shape. And then I'm going to just toss it in this mixture that I have, which is the all-purpose flour and the potato starch. And I'm going to just put it back on this piece of parchment paper. So, repeat. Nugget shape into my flour all-purpose and potato starch. And then just back on here. Real nice and easy. The initial step of like having to separate them all and make sure they're the right configuration was takes a little longer than this does, because at this point I'm just taking them, smooshing them. They don't have to be perfect. I mean, they're chicken nuggets. As long as they're roughly shaped correctly, you're good. And this is our initial like coating of the flour and and whatnot. We will be putting them back in the freezer. Again, we just want to make sure that we're not working with super warm meat. We probably could get away with it, but I found it was a lot easier to let them rest in the freezer in between each of these steps. But it's not too bad. You could plan ahead of time and get up to this step and put them in the freezer in the morning of. I would say that's just going to increase your time of cook because it will be frozen. So I haven't tried it, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. It would be like buying... Whoop. Gotta smoosh it first. It's like buying the frozen nuggets at the grocery store. But you've homemade them. Didn't. I have been wanting to do another recipe from Don't Starve. It's been a little bit. This was the last one I did. And I know they added that new character. Oh, what's his name? It's the one he has. They added to Don't Starve together. He has like a portable crockpot that he could carry with him, and he has like a spice rack that he only has access to. I forgot his name. They added him, and I'm like, oh man, I want to play again. Because he seems like a character that I would very much so enjoy. And with the addition of him, they've added a few more like vegetables that you could grow. So I know one of the recipes I think that's added to Don't Starve together finally is asparagus soup. And that's been when I'm like, asparagus soup is not something I've seen, but it would work, right? I'm sure it's a thing that does exist, but not something that's too common. I was excited because they added this character. He was in Shipwreck, but they added him to Don't Starve. Either added or are adding. They're adding him for free, which is nice because I know. I'd say one of the first two they added were new, and those were DLC characters. Oh, yeah. Kanji. Useless for the camera today. Well, that's fine. It's going to be great, because the moment I switch over, because I have only 2 webcams right now. I'm going to be moving that over when we start frying. But that's fine. I mean, I guess you could kind of see him in the corner. Whoop. Whoop. Actually, because I'm placing these a lot more organized, they are fitting nicely. Oh my gosh. I love the Tales of series. It's another one I should do something else for. Jeff and I were extremely excited when they re-released Vesperia. We'd love those games. And it's great because you can play with friends and stuff. Oh, I love the series. It's so good. So I always enjoy being able to make things. I really want them to remake Abyss on like the new consoles, because I love Abyss, but it's definitely aged. I think we picked up a PlayStation 2 down here to be like, yeah, we're gonna play it. We're gonna do things. And then we're like, oh, PS2, why? And then the PS2 died, I guess, at some point. The one we had. I think when we moved down here, I didn't have like my original PS2. we went to like some local game store and it was like $80 or something. We're like, okay, yeah, let's just whatever, let's grab it just to play Abyss. Yeah, we played a few times and then it sat there, and then I think a month ago we were like, oh, we had friends over and we're like, oh, we're gonna go play this PS2 game. Just the disc thing would not spin. It was like, cool. Well, that's that. But yeah, Jeff, you are right. We picked up the new edition of Vesperia. We picked it up for the Switch. And might be related to the weird Switch, like, I don't know. There was some funk with the Switch version, and we're like, that's weird. If someone does one thing, the Move like kind of tries to do other things, and we're like, this isn't making sense. Like, I'm hitting this button and it's doing the complete opposite move. And we're like, this is kind of annoying. So then we just picked it up for the PS4 and so we restarted. We're pretty far in on that Switch playthrough, and then we restarted. We got further, and then we got distracted. Distracted with life. No, that's not true. Distracted with other games is usually what happens. Like, now, Mario Maker. Been playing a lot of that. And we had just started playing Judgment, which is the newest game from the Yakuza studio. Ashmo Crochet, thank you so much for the sub. Okay, my hands are dirty, but I owe Kanji a treat. A treat. Oh, Jeff's got him. Thank you so much for that sub. How are you today?
Can you get on your back?
Kanji gets treats for subs. He's like, I'll get on the bed, I guess. How are you doing? Kanji gets rewarded. Yeah, good boy left it.
What a good boy.
Okay, so that was my last one. So I have. Whoop, whoop. We'll show the plate. So it all made sense. So here they are. Parchment paper, I swear sometimes. So here they are. This is the first stage. I'm going to be putting them in the freezer again, so they're going to be in here for 20 minutes this time. Careful. Don't want to bump the camera. Bump the camera. All right, putting them in there. So here is, since we're having fried food, put all this away. I'm going to behave myself and I'm going to prepare vegetables. So there's at least some kind of healthy with tonight's dinner. Sure, as Jeff starts typing, boom, vegetables. That's not true. He likes his veggies. Clean my mess first. Just put everything back here. For now. Whoop. Okay. Keep that there. Don't need these anymore. So, when one of the like easier side dishes that you could do with vegetables is just roast them. You toss them in a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, bam. And put them in the oven and you're good. And most of the time you don't have to babysit them. So I definitely enjoy doing it. I think roast vegetables in general tend to taste a bit better than other methods of cooking them. I'm remember growing up and the way sometimes it would be like, oh, here's your boiled broccoli. And it's like, okay, this is sad. I think that's just a thing of 90s cooking. So I need to grab, I didn't think that far in advance. Kind of did, kind of not on purpose. Kind of, that's kind of dirty actually. Maybe. No, it's fine. It's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and put aluminum foil on it, just because kind of clean. Today, the vegetables, extra vegetables. I'm going to do cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and I don't think I have, I'd usually do shallots, but for some reason, all the shallots I bought this week were real bad. Got a huge cauliflower. Only a little bit of Brussels sprouts. Yeah. So I'm going to use a little bit of red onion. I'm going to grab a bowl. Now, typically for roasting, you want to do between 375, 425, depending on the veggie. 375, we don't need it to go too quickly. I'm going to let that start heating up. It's probably by the time, just be careful with this because the frying is going to definitely take some time. It's going to be in batches. So this, probably in the oven for 20, 30 minutes max. But the worst case, the longer you leave it in there, it means it's gonna just get crispier. Deflated, he's sitting there licking away. A flat dog. I'm gonna give this a rinse. So with this step, you could definitely just go ahead and I like to cut the Brussels sprouts up, remove like this real hard part, and then cut them in half. That's just what I like. Also, some of this kind of looking a little funky. So you could just put them on here. I like to do them in a bowl, and then I could toss it nicely with the olive oil. Otherwise, you're kind of like pouring olive oil and it kind of ends up everywhere. Hansi, you being handsome? Yeah. Yeah, Kanji was originally going to be a show dog. So we got him at like a year and a few months. Because breed standards, he's a little too long for them. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Because he's our dog. And we don't care. Just slightly. These Brussels sprouts. Careful slicing. See, I like roasting. Brussels sprouts are very good. I do asparagus a lot. Cauliflower I started doing recently. which I was like, oh, okay, that's a good way. Up. Kanji's gone crazy. You crazy, Kanji? You dropped your carrot. You gonna go get it? The look he's giving me right now is like, what? Go get it! No. It's like, I had my dinner. I'm lazy now. Ooh, you know what? I forgot to turn on. I have to remember to keep doing this. I don't think it's working. I have the closed captioning and I forgot to turn the website on that I need to have running. On. Okay. Is this, yeah. That's something I need to get used to remembering doing when I set up all the stream stuff. Just so it's there, so if people need it, it's an option. It's not 100%, but it works. Well, Kanji had a moment of play and then was done. No more. What a lazy dog. Just cutting veggies, just like being precise with the cuts and careful with the cuts. Oop, this one just kind of fell apart. Some of these are just like real. Don't Starve is a funny game to me because I really like love the look of it. I love how much of a focus there is on food in the game. I'm so bad at it. We tried a few times and we had made it, I think the furthest we made it was this summer. So we made it through 3 seasons. And it was always like, oh, almost. I think we made it to summer once and then after that we kind of kept having, I'm gonna cut that in half, struggling in winter when we made it that one time, or struggling in like spring over and over again, and it was like, oh my gosh, why? Please. So like I know I can handle like the going around and taking care of the base. I'm like, I can't fight anything because I'm so bad at fighting. Jeff would be responsible for that. Some of our other friends. It's just like, oh my gosh. I've seen people stream Don't Starve and they're like, this is day 2000. I'm like, wow, that's impressive. Your base is like crazy. Everything's like planned perfectly. Okay, so the Brussels sprouts are all set up. I'm gonna see. I don't know if I'm gonna make. That is a lot of cauliflower. I should try making cauliflower pizza. I've seen it like. Alright, so I've never had it. Seems so interesting. I've seen it at grocery stores pretty often. Like in the freezer section. stuff is hearty enough. I could see it working nicely. Whoop. 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 Oh. Let me rinse this one. I think I only want half of this. Have the other half tomorrow. There's definitely a lot here. Okay, so I don't want that big hunkin' core. Don't need that, so I'm gonna go ahead and chop these into smaller slices. Because these are huge. Things I like with cauliflower, I could just be like, and munch. Same with broccoli. I mean, most veggies. Brussels sprouts, not so much. Not so much. Oven was nice and heated up nicely. Oof. Today was real nice outside. Here in Houston, we had like a cold front come through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty out. This isn't July weather. I'm used to July being like, well, I'm never going outside again. So Kanji was able to get an early walk these past few days, actually, because it's been real nice. Alright, that's the cauliflower. Now, do I want to use that whole... No, it's too much red onion. Probably a quarter red onion. See how my timer's looking? Only 5 minutes. Okay, perfect. It's nice when you're like prepping a bunch of things, time kind of just like escapes. Now, if you are intimidated by deep frying, or I say deep frying, it is going to be frying. We're not doing like several inches. We're going to probably have like about an inch of oil there. Just don't try doing everything at once. Just have things prepared ahead of time. So have all your stations set up that you're going to have to dunk everything in. If you're really worried, just have it all pre-done. Oil takes a while to heat up, so keep that in mind as you're prepping stuff. Of course, if you're new to it, use a deeper pan, even if it's that small amount. I'm like, this stopped. Um, I think the biggest thing is if you're new in the kitchen at all, just make sure you just prep things ahead of time. Get used to that. Work at your own pace. As I've learned with the people who have been cooking with the Fallout book, my times are pretty quick because I'm used to cooking, so I could get things done a little quicker. And honestly, why on the website I do not put times down, because everyone cooks at a different rate, and I hate. Oh man, olive oil. Eee. I put it away earlier. Okay. I'm gonna just toss some olive oil in here. Whatever, use my hands. Just kind of toss everything together so it's all wonderfully covered. Yeah. My website will never have times on it because, well, besides the actual cooking times, but like total prep time and all that. Just because everyone cooks at a different rate. And I know that can be, I think it could be intimidating for new cooks when something says, oh my gosh, it takes 3 hours long. Or they did it in what? 15 minutes? How? I know with doing these like cooking streams definitely has helped me understand doing things at a slower pace than I would expect them to be. So it's definitely given me a better understanding of like, oh, okay, maybe someone who is newer in the kitchen takes this long compared to me. So when I'm doing the recipes for the site, I'm focused. Now, I'm taking a lot of pictures, so that'll hiccup things a little bit, but still takes some time. So all I've added to these veggies is salt, pepper, and the olive oil. That's it. And then I'm not going to put them in the oven yet. I kind of want to start setting up stuff for the chicken nuggets, and that's including moving the kanji cam so I can use it. Now I need to make like my makeshift camera standing up thing. Okay. With Tupperware. And a bowl, probably. Actually, this might be... This is lower, so that'll probably be fine. So that's the timer saying the 20 minutes has passed, so that's good and ready to start being prepared. I don't have everything out yet, so I'm going to leave it in there. There's nothing wrong with leaving things in a little longer than the time says. Now, when you're cooking, that's a different story. But I'm going to go ahead and prep. Just putting the oil in there. I'm not going to start it yet because I'm not ready for it. I know I need to get 2 eggs. So once again, we're using that same mixture here of the flour and potato starch. I need to somehow maneuver my way to getting the eggs. Getting the eggs. Okay, I just need 2. For now, if you find while you're prepping the nuggets and you're putting them together that you run out of eggs, you just add more. Like, 2 is what got me through. You might have smaller eggs than I do. So what are these technically? Large eggs. Large Costco brand eggs. Put that back. Back. And now I need to carefully, oh so carefully, grab the nuggets out of there. Let me check for one thing. Don't want to make another mistake or anything. So this and this and that. There's the eggs. 1 inch deep. Begin to preheat the oil. Set it on a plate until you're finished and ready to fry them. Once it's heated, add several nuggets. All right. So because this is a little let me move the kanji cam first. Just realized that was the wrong. Oops. It was supposed to be this one. Anyway, let me turn off. Goodbye, kanji cam. The camera has to go pretty far. Nice close up here. Carefully with all the wires. Kind of just trying to be a Grumposaurus. Now let's take a look at it with the camera. Alright, and now we're going to be able to shuffle that around. Cool. So that fits perfectly. Gonna start heating that at a lower temperature. I do recommend having a thermometer of some form to make sure that that is heating up correctly, which I should grab mine. You can use an instant read one or one of the ones that you put on the side, and it'll watch the temperature as it goes up. So now, careful not to hit the camera. Boop. I'm gonna get my nuggets out of the freezer. The highly shiny nuggets. So here they are after being in the freezer. They're not like rock solid or anything. But they will be easier to work with. I'm going to grab another plate. Actually, at this point, I'm also going to put this into the oven. 25 minutes. 25 minutes. Jeff, I'm getting pretty hungry too. Should probably have a snack. Guess what? We're probably 20 minutes. is my guess. So I'm going to take one of these, plop it in there, just in the egg. There's nothing else in here. It's just scrambled eggs. Going to make sure it drips any excess liquid off. Put it back in here. Jeff, you don't want to be Houston man, do you? So when I did make these the first time, and I'm curious if it's going to happen again, the first batch weren't as pretty as the remaining batches. I don't know what it was about that first batch when I cooked them. Something about them charred a little more than I wanted them to. It was a little odd. I think it was probably the potato starch that did some funk to it. But the next set did look wonderful. And then that's basically it. We just kind of keep repeating this until the oil is wonderfully heated up. You don't need to worry about putting things back in the freezer if say you're kind of like waiting for a long time on that. It should at this point hold fine. Because I know with this I definitely had a moment of like, okay, take a bunch of pictures, stop. Okay, let me set up the real nice looking ones for the picture. Which I appreciate having pushed my photography style with this particular set, because it was the first time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna really, because I saw a bunch of like really neat photos online of like dark food photography. I'm like, I want to try that. The Perfect Game. Don't Starve has that like real dark, eerie look. I should do that. And it worked. And now I've been able to do it for a few other recipes on the site. So it's nice having a different look when I need it. Because there are some games that are the lighting in it is just generally a lot darker. People always say to make sure while you're doing this process to be careful of not mixing. Kanji's going crazy again. I don't know what's up with him right now. Is this the content you crave, Sam? Jeff doing dumb things and getting sick. Or are we talking like full Japanese mascot like outfit where it looks like he's eating the food? You're feeling like you want a TV show? What kind of TV show we're talking? Okay, so more like a Hamburglar. Okay. Are you done with game dev? Ready for you going Hollywood now? Yeah, it's funny because I hear in the background down the hall. Okay, perfect. We'll be in LA in like 2 months. Yes, they're chicken. Chicken honey nugs. It is like, oh god, why did I do that? I'd say it's 60% chicken thighs, 40% chicken breast. Bleep. Mistake I always make is I probably should have started heating the oil a little earlier. It is on the smaller side too, so I have to keep that in mind. Because that's the easier spot. Okay, so I have not. But I guess you could probably take any veggie and just kind of put it in this method, but it'd be a little boring just because a lot of the flavor is in the nugget itself. But have I seen vegan nuggets? Have I seen them? Have I seen them? Actually, you can't do this. There's eggs. I don't think I have. I don't know if there's any place that's like doing that. Maybe like the Beyond or in an Impossible company is maybe doing stuff like that. Because that would seem like something they would do. I have been like trying to do more like trying to expand my knowledge of vegan and vegetarian cooking in general. Vegan can be tricky. Just because there's things that you wouldn't think about being non-vegan, so like eggs. It's like, nope, that's a no-go. Or honey. Honey's a no-go. Any animal product. Oh, Ovazakin, thank you for the follow. I missed that. Just don't know why that doesn't make any noises here in the kitchen. It's so annoying. Maybe I need to set a thing for the bot to say something when that happens. Because I could see the chat pretty easily. Very, very, very quiet. I'm going to stop for a moment there. No, not even seeing any. Not even seeing any crinkles. Yeah, it's completely fine for you to now be off of your bed. Because the camera's not even on you. Ooh, where'd you get an Impossible hot dog? Because I've not had that. Check real quick. Oh, just like at the grocery store. That's nice. It's 180-ish right now. I'm gonna leave this over here. I actually don't know if I've seen. Well, what have I seen? We have bought. No. Trying to think what I've seen at H-E-B. Because yeah, I could see Whole Foods definitely carrying those products. So my oil right now was at about 180-ish. So we still got a ways to go before we can start frying. Yep, already did my sauce. Now I'm in the process of like, what else do I need to be doing? I'm going to start laying them over here just because, you know, stacking them's not going to be the best for it. Just got to remember which ones I've done. No, my only experience with those two, like the Impossible Burger, I've only had at Hop Dotty. The Beyond Burger, I had a friend come by and they made a bunch of like they made them at their home and then they brought a bunch of them here. I don't know if any place. The Impossible one seems to be the more popular brand. I think my friend was saying that he's been able to pick up the Beyond one at one of the Krogers occasionally. I guess I usually don't find myself looking in the frozen food section at the grocery store. Should maybe look when I go. I'm gonna go Friday. Whoop, whoop. I'm gonna run out of like flour. All my messy hands. I keep sprinkling a little bit of flour in there because it kind of gives me a rough idea where the temperature is. Just a rough. It's not exact. But it helps me go, okay, should I check the temperature again or not? Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab. Well, that's why, like, half my flour is, like, on the countertop right now. I'm gonna clean my hands again. Might have actually had, like, thicker pieces of chicken today. So there might be more. Oh no, the flour. The flour is right here. But I have an extra supply of flour. Things I don't recommend doing. Leaving the oil alone. Do not leave it unattended. Just in case something happens. It's more important that you kind of have a ease. I do highly recommend having some kind of device that you could cover it if something does happen. If you do have a fire in the kitchen, do not put water on oil. That will only make things worse. Way worse. So be safe. Please. A little bit. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and check that temperature again. Oh boy, last week I was at my in-laws cooking. I did like chicken for them real quick. And they had an older thermometer and it was like, this is the temperature that chicken should be done at and this is the temperature things should be done at. Recommended temperature for chicken is 165. That thing was suggesting 180. I'm like, whoa, that is old. Oh boy, that is very dry chicken. So, because it definitely had the numbers in there, and I was looking at it, I'm like, this isn't right. That's too high of a temperature. It's always kind of fun to look back at like older kitchen equipment or even just older recipes. I have. So when I was doing work on the Fallout book, there was a moment where it was like, oh, should I pull some extra like 1950s recipes out? Like, there's food in the game, but there was one point that we were talking that we wanted to be more Vault Tech driven and having it be more in that like 1950s style. And I was like, okay, time to research. And conveniently, my dad, I had just done a trip to Chicago, and I was like, hey, can I borrow, do you have books? And I guess one of my dad's aunts left a bunch of books that were all 1950s cooking things. And some of the recipes in there are bizarre. Like recipes for squirrel. Those were the ones that made me go, oh, okay. We were very close temperature-wise, so we're going to be able to start... Yeah, the vegetables are going to be done way before. That's fine. That's fine. That's expected. Whoop. Cover in the flour. I still have those books somewhere because I was supposed to return them to my dad, but I think he's been down here twice since then, and I've forgotten to give them back. Because they're always like in a weird place. Because it's not a set of books that I keep around to be like, I'm gonna cook from this. Actually, maybe that would be an interesting stream. Pick a few of the really weird recipes in those books. Not like the weird meat ones, but like, oh, why would you do this? Maybe try cooking it exactly the way they say, and then going, okay, how can we make this better? That could be interesting. See, I think most of them are from the 50s, maybe 60s. They're like little booklets. And they're all like themed, so they'll be like fancy meats, or all your meats, or all your salad, a whole book of salads. Little tiny things. I think things that they like got in the mail. Kanji likes chasing squirrels. I think one of the weirder thing is, like in the apartments we lived in, there were tons of squirrels everywhere. But now here in our neighborhood that we're currently in, there's not as many squirrels. Some of these I'm coding a little extra because it looks like the egg is kind of peeking out. I'm going to assume we are near go. Go time. This is a messy process. When you do rinse your hands, make sure you dry them extremely well. You don't want any water going into that oil. That's a no-no. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna switch the camera. Still focused. Now, the stove view isn't as pretty, but it is what we got, and this is what we'll go with. So it is about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. I'm gonna go on the lower end to start. You wanna carefully place these down. Make sure not to burn yourself. Something to keep in mind as you're putting them in is you are reducing the temperature of the oil. and they are going to, it is going to drop, which is fine. Don't get spooked by that. Those might fuse together. You also don't want to overcrowd your pan. Probably fit one more. Don't want to overcrowd it. That is four and change. Gonna give my veggies a look. They'll be fine because I didn't put them at the 425, so they're gonna be a little longer. Now, we want the internal temperature of these to be 165. That is what we are aiming for. I do highly recommend having a cooking thermometer in your kitchen. It is a good device to have. Just because then you're able to kind of like watch things that are going. I'm going to kind of give them a little bit of a shuffle around. These are mostly submerged in. Tops are a little not completely. Look, you kind of, it's a little, let me fix this. I feel like that's a little brighter than they should be. Kanji can. Do. Okay. Something I usually do and I should be doing right now. I do like to add like aluminum kind of around the area that I'm working on. Because then it makes cleanup a little easier. Because while this is cooking, because I'm not using a high, a very deep pan, it is going to pop out. Even if you are using the deep pan, it is going to pop away and make somewhat of a mess. That's just for slightly easier cleanup. Just slightly. Now, these sounds are okay. Don't get spooked by them. If you are worried, you shouldn't be. It's just that my guess is it's gotten through a little bit to the meat. So that is gonna be a little louder. Yeah, I can see this one. That one's the problem child. They're swimming. Going for a real deep swim. So there are 9 in there. And I have 26 more after that. Yes, frying can be spooky. Because it could all go bad if it wanted to. I mean, it's reasonable. Like, this sound, it's kind of scary. Like, these are angrier than usual, but it's fine. But it's fine. It's okay. There's a reason why I don't do a lot of deep frying. One, it's not the best for you. But two, it's a lot. I mean, you end up doing all that and then you have to take care of the oil afterwards. You have to, depending on how much you fry it, you can reuse the oils. But since we're using not the large, like it's not the deepest amount, it's going to be used several times. If I did 9 there, I'm going to have to do 2 more fries like this, which is fine. So I am curious. Thank you, Volsi. Because I did goof on the recipe a little bit. I forgot to put the panko in. They're holding up while they're cooking. They might fall apart when we're eating them. But I mean, it doesn't feel too bad. Here. Let me start shuffling some of these onto this plate. Keep an eye on them. Did I put a timer on? No, we did not. We'll put 3 minutes and then we'll check the temperatures. And then this is where I say, Jeff, 3 minutes. Just in case you keep doing Lucio. I don't know. I actually don't hear clacking anymore, but that could be because the frying is very loud. Sam, have you done any Lucio Ball? I think Jeff said you played with him a little bit. But then you guys couldn't do comp together. Yeah, I reduced my heat of my oil there because I thought it was a little higher than it should have been. 2, 4, 6, 8. One more. We'll do 9 at a time. So that probably means I need to do 3 more. Yeah, 3 more. Now, while you're frying, the stuff you're frying is going to absorb the peanut oil. Not only has the temperature typically reduce, but it'll also be absorbed. So you want to kind of keep an eye on that, and you want to make sure that you add any additional peanut oil as you're going. So when you add it, it's going to reduce the temperature even more. So just things to kind of keep an eye on as you are frying. Ooh, Volsi, you flew through the bridge content. You're not too far behind us then. Because Jeff and I did some Stormblood, and we got to the big major city in the game. And then we kind of got distracted by other things. So, I am pretty bad with MMOs too. When I say bad, I enjoy them a lot, and they end up eating a lot of my time, but then that's like the game I focus on. So, I can understand that concern. I'm going to check this one. Oh my god, please. Just went like all the way through. Oh my gosh, please. This is very done. Jeffrey! Oh, Jeffrey! So you can see, like the first set, and for some reason I think this only happens with the first set, it gets this weird, like, line around it. Don't be afraid of it. The next set, for some reason, like, when I did this the first time, I was like, oh my god, really? Still tastes good. But I found that the second set was the one that ended up looking a lot better and just being what I wanted it to be. What I am going to do... Where is that? Where is that item that I need? Here it is. I'm going to kind of go ahead and get some of this out of here. And it might be a thing of like the first initial one like has to like dirty up the oil a little bit so that it comes out fine. Put that there. I'm going to check the temperature again of the oil. So I do need it to go up again. It's sitting at 275. So since I have to wait anyway, I'm going to add a little bit more because that definitely did absorb a good chunk of it, but not too much. All right, go look at chat. Oh yeah, no, I get that feeling. Like it's nice. I think it's probably my favorite part of MMOs is one, being able to play with friends. This is a spoon is not going to cut the chicken nugget. Kanji, you getting your close up there? That's not real food safe. You gotta pet the kanji. I can't. I'm working with food. I'm gonna cut this bad boy open. I'm gonna switch the camera real quick. Main focus. Everything's so bright. Like I said, the outside's looking funk. We got our inside. You can see the nice thing is with it being with it not being like a ground chicken, we could get little chicken chunks. So that's chicken breast there, surrounded by wonderful chicken thighs. They just came out of the oven, or out of the, dang. You could grab some. You'll burn your mouth. And I made the sauce already. I think the sauce is what really ties this all together. So I would say if you do make this recipe, don't skimp out. Make the sauce with it. The sauce is the easiest part of the recipe. Oh, it's hot. Oh, so yum. It's very hot. Yep. You haven't got me. Check my temp. Are you just eating it without the... You dipped it. Yeah, double dip. That's the nice thing when you're just at home. You can double dip all you want. Ain't no rules. That's raw. That's cooked. I think the thing I like about this, I think the rice vinegar like gives it a nice like hit, the sauce, so it works very nice. I'm looking for these. Those aren't done, Jeff. Oh man. So we're waiting for our oil to finish heating up again. Oh, you played Lucio Ball with... You had a Lucio Ball friend. That's weird. I like that Sam says that he played a little and was immediately reminded that how much he hates it. Oh, this is the part I hate. Because it was so high up in temperature, I reduced it, and then I was like, oh no, I've left it too low. So now there's like this in-between state where I'm like, well, waiting for it to heat up again. No, he's actually pretty accurate. Like, your own teammates are, like, sometimes actively working against you.
No, but I'm always the nicest person in the world.
Jeff says that he's the nicest person in the world.
No, only when playing Lucy. I'm terrible.
Oh. I'm not gonna say that. Sam says, because they added hamster noises in the ball, it's even more annoying.
I was telling my teammates we had a free.
Jeff was telling his teammates that he had to save Hammond because he was getting booped too much. No. Hot damn. That recipe is still very good. Good. That's one of the joys of like being able to do these recipes on stream now. I'm able to go back and go, let's see if this actually still works. Even when I forget the panko, it does kind of fall apart more than I would want it to, but it's still good. You have Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, red onions. I made that comment on the stream. I guess you weren't listening then. Too focused. Jeff, we eventually need to find a way to do what your brother was suggesting for the cooking streams. Where instead of, we have 3 panels on this, like 3 windows on the side. Where one is like the extra kitchen one, one's kanji, and one's like a game being played. That requires more equipment.
We have another headset. And I don't even know how to do that because you make another monitor here and have that computer do it.
So I've seen people that have like a stream computer that says. No, the easy answer is to do like an Elgato and do like the switch first.
Yeah.
Right? Like.
Would you make the game relevant to
Yeah, you'd probably want to make it relevant to what's being made. Which, for those of you that are in chat right now, please take a look at my website. Right there. Pics. I'm in chat. I guess it would be on this side for them. Right there, bot helped me. Pick a recipe. And I'll say yes or no. That we could do next week. If there's one that interests you, I haven't picked what the next recipe that I'm going to do from the blog is. Let me know what you guys would maybe want to see. I could probably start doing a backlog and doing what people want to make. Okay, we're close enough. Or if you just want like a specific game to get highlighted, I can go ahead and decide from there. Because some games they do have several recipes from. I'd consider doing like today this and then the like the pumpkin cookies from the game. And I was like, this is frying, and I know I'm gonna be like done by the time I'm done frying everything. Frying's a lot of work. There was like that 20-minute in between, but I would not be able to get a cookie recipe done in 20 minutes. I'm gonna just kind of move. We'll go back to the other scene. So y'all could watch it just frying away. Now, you see the first batch was a lot angrier because I had I think the heat might have been higher than it should have been. 2 more sets. 2 more sets. Eat some veggies, Jeff. No. See, let me think. Sam, I know you're a big old fan of that pumpkin. No, kanji's not a pumpkin. I do need to start thinking because I keep getting close to the next emote unlock here on Twitch once I get enough subs. I want the next one to be a kanji one, and I haven't decided if I want to move down some of the ones I've already made. That's the king kanji, and I'm not sure if that should be one of the lower ones or a different kind of kanji one. I was thinking maybe we could use that 3D kanji you have, but I don't know how well.
I'm not sure that would.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm just lazy. Maybe we should just take a picture of kanji. Make it an emote. He makes dumb faces. I'm sure we could get the fattest kanji.
I'm eating my veggies.
I'm proud of you. He's
One
eating
thing. And it's gonna be an onion.
one red onion. It's true. I need to start thinking about Thanksgiving. Perfect. Jeff, we'll invite all of those people over and we'll stream Thanksgiving. No way.
You want that many people over with all these wires?
Yeah, exactly. There's no way. Also, then I lose the table. Could do the prep because the weekend I prep a bunch of stuff. Like pumpkin cheesecake. This is so good.
Just do like a 3-day stream with the camera
The camera just in the fridge.
watching
The turkey brine. Criminal. Criminal. You could stand right here. People expect you in the streams. It depends. So Jeff asked if I find that the nuggets fry faster the second or third time around. It depends on the temperature of the oil. Honestly. Now, you could already see these look a lot cleaner than that first set. I don't know. No, I've mentioned it a few times. That first set is going to have all of these like darker marks than the second or third set that you do. I think the oil needs to be like worked, and then it becomes more even and a lot cleaner. I mean, it's super loud.
I'm already holding it for
And the nice thing is with this, I'm pretty sure with this recipe, if you wanted to like have more white meat in it than the dark meat, I recommend more dark meat because I'm more of a dark meat person. You could probably switch the ratio around and make it the way you would want to make it. I find the dark meat to be a lot juicier, but I mean that's the beauty of cooking. you can go ahead and adjust things as needed and customize it to be your own. Mm. Which is why I like cooking so much. I was listening. What was I listening to? What did I watch? There was a quote that was basically like, I'm pretty sure I could play it in the back. Hold on. I'm going to stop this music for a moment. And then I'm going to open your link up. And I don't know how loud it's going to be, so I'm sorry ahead of time. Go check. I have a half piece. There was a part of me that was like, I should just have that song on loop the whole time while we're making the chicken nuggets. I'm gonna go back to putting what we had on before in my tummy. So good. Did I put it? Yes, I did. I'm like, did I put the timer on? Wham. Check that temp. Bam. Done. Probably could actually reduce the time it is taking to cook these. Getting my yoga poses in too as I reach over. Bow, 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 bow. Some of these got a little messy, but whatever. There's tasty. They're trying to speak to me too. Jeff, there are more chicken nuggets in the kitchen. I do need to check the temperature of my oil before I put this in. I definitely need to add more. More oil. No, it's gonna be in my head the whole time. I know at one point we were like, oh, except the Waypoint crew used to play that song, right? Every time they got a chicken nugget dinner. Are these facts? He's nodding at me. So when they did, when they were playing PUBG, I was like, oh, maybe I should do something for like PUBG. I never did. It's also probably because I wasn't playing the game. I do know, like I have done recipes from games I'm not playing because it is difficult to be able to play every game that exists that has food in it. They're very hot. So but I have done it. It just becomes, I guess, a little difficult to write about the game when I don't have much of a connection to it. But the waiting game. I'm gonna kind of clean this out a little bit. We want to make sure our oil is not in the worst condition. As it is cooking, it is kind of like pieces are falling out a little bit. It's fine. It's going to happen. Things are going to separate. Is that what it was? Breakfast and Battlegrounds. Yeah, I didn't watch that. I am enjoying heavily Patrick Klepek's Mario Maker Mornings. It's been fun because he's found some interesting developers, interesting level creators, and so Jeff, the ones he's playing, I'm like, I don't have the patience for it, but Jeff is able to play through them. Like, I know today he was doing a level of a designer called Stanky, and Jeff's been playing through those recently, and they are rough levels. Oh, it's just Stank? My bad. Stank! Exclamation point. Thank you, Jeff. Clearly, I must have been thinking of the Lucio player back in the day. So Stank. But his levels are crazy. I know Patrick had an article today about the 20-second levels. Those are the ones I've been enjoying a lot. Because I go in and I play it and it's 20 seconds long. Obviously, it takes a few attempts. But they're very... I like them. They're chaotic. Got 2 more batches. How many nuggets will make it? Not into my tummy. I do believe the last time we did make these, and we had a few left over. They do heat up pretty well in the microwave. Because one of my big things is with cooking, I do a lot of my heavy lifting cooking, just general cooking, in the evening. And then we'll eat leftovers for lunch. So it ends up being a good money saver there. So we're not eating out at work. So a lot of the... maybe that's a fault of the website. A lot of my recipes will be a higher quantity. Just because I know I want to make sure I have leftovers most of the time. And then I'm not having to stress out about lunch at all. It's done. It's ready. And I like doing it that way. Makes my life easier. But also, I spend my weekend doing stuff for the website. So that when I'm doing heavy, when I know I have weekends that I'm going to be like out of town for a bit, there are weekends that I'm like, okay, time to do like 5 or 6 recipes just to be prepped. Sam, you need to make more Mario Maker levels. I know you were out of town. You're to be out of town again. Oh, so busy. I feel like there's one fruit fly in here. It's been real annoying. so delicious. What recipe should I do next week? That's more what game should I do it from? Let me look at my site real quick. I could do Battle Chef Brigade, but a lot of those recipes are a little more intense, just timing wise. I think the ones that don't take much time aren't as Jeff safe. Just make a batch of tiramisu. No, no one will complain. Well, the unfortunate thing with that would be it wouldn't be ready until the next day. So. Oh, maybe Final Fantasy 15. There are a few things in there I could do. It is also a game I've been meaning to do more recipes from. Yep, time to flip. Make sure I got no wet hands. I don't know which side that was. Yeah, that could work. There are a few options there. My favorite game, Golf Story. Heck yeah. Actually, it could be real nice and make Kanji, what do I have treats for him for? Breath of the Wild last week, so... Looking at like all my Overwatch ones, a lot of the like recipes are intense. Could do this similar. Unless people have thoughts, I will figure it out alone. Again, Not putting the timer on. I'll get it one day. Whoop. These are so delicious. This will be the last set that we will do. So for the record, if you, like me, forget to put the panko in, they're fine. They're a little softer, but they hold up, just like actual chicken nuggets. So let's see. The time, 2.5 hours. So we'll probably have them all done near the 3-hour mark. I mean, it takes a long time. It's probably something that I would recommend doing it on a weekend afternoon, not something to do typically, because it does take a bit. And like I said, they do heat up nicely. It's always a positive. Since I didn't put the timer on correctly. Yeah, we're eep, eep. So many chicken nuggets. Whoop. So I guess it's two things for you all to think about. And you can hit me up on Twitter or whatever and let me know. One, what is another don't starve recipe you would like to see? Because there are a lot of options, and I haven't done them all. It's another one of those you would like to see on the site. So that's one I could start working on next, because I'm always taking requests, like specific requests. And then what recipes you'd like to see done live. Now, my week is still a little funky. Life is happening. So we're not going to have a regularly scheduled gaming stream tomorrow. But Friday I will be doing a test kitchen. Kind of a test kitchen, kind of more of a prepping for the weekend, because the weather down here is mostly nice. So I think I'm going to probably smoke some turkey legs, and those need to get prepped beforehand. I've also been craving biscuits, just 'cause. So I might make a batch of those on Friday. It's going to be kind of a chaos. There's so much food. It's crazy. Lovely, wonderful Houston. Just don't do it in the summer. Don't do it. Not recommended. Now, other times of the year, yes. Okay, we are under 300 still, so we're gonna give it. Don't overthink it. Fruit fly. One fruit fly. Gotta go somewhere fun. I mean, at that time of year, weather-wise, you have a lot of nice options. I've also been trying to think of other things because I really liked the chocolate chip cookie rice thing we did on stream the one time with all the different tests. Did that also with the biscuits. I have to think of other ones that I want to do in the near future. Because obviously during the week it's easy to be like, okay, here's a recipe for my website and I can do that one and just get it all put together. Easy, because I don't have to think about it. I do want to try, something I've wanted to try for a bit is making fortune cookies from scratch, just because they're hilarious. But it would also be nice to make like good ones. Because I've had some really good ones. I've had some pretty stale ones. But that would be a fun one to figure out if it's doable at home. I've seen recipes. I've read a bit about it. Be curious to test that out. Desserts are usually easier to do like big test things because you get half a recipe. Things with meat can be tricky. Just because they tend to could do different kinds of burgers. Kind of test all that out. Alright. Last batch. Is the oil? No, the oil's just being shy. Everything in the kitchen's shy today. Kanji didn't want to be on camera. The oil doesn't want to heat up. Okay. What is that? Oh, I could do overcooked. That might not be a bad idea. I was so sad when I realized, because the Epic Game Store had Overcooked 1 for for free. And I was sad when I learned the first one doesn't have like any online gameplay. So that would have been, I think that could have been a fun one to do with Jeff and Badger Bee. But hi, Onis-chan. How are you this evening? Other than ready to get real hungry. Well, you're catching the tail end of it. We got the last batch of the chicken nuggets frying up. Taking their time. The oil's starting to look less and less inviting. We do have... There, finally. The one fruit fly that's been flying around. I hope it's one. Should be more than one. Doing pretty good. Also tired. Ready for the week to be done. But I had delicious chicken nuggets with this delicious sauce. Which I could honestly just dip anything in it. Clean this up. I am the queen of the nuggets. Oh no. How? What is mad early? So that's usually pretty easy. So okay. Um, I love talking to people who have later schedules than me, and they're like, "Oh, I wake up early before 7 o'clock." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Relatively, yes, compared to how when you usually wake up, that is definitely mad early. I know for on the average workday, we're up at 6, just because to get kanji walked and then go to work. Uh, and I think my body's just so used to waking up that early that on the weekends, it's like, oh, my body's like, hello, it's 7 o'clock, time to get up. You have all these things to do today. Okay. Because even though I'm not like a meal prepper, that's not how I do my cooking in general. Uh, I mean, I kind of do because I do a ton of recipes for the website, and then I end up doing so much. So in a weird way, I am meal prepping, and then I forget I've made that many recipes, and I'm like, oh, Jeff, we have too many leftovers. Kind of what happened this past weekend. Yeah, my oil's now being extra crispy. Honey nuggets are chicken nuggets with honey. Easy answer. Yeah, I think the biggest thing with like like your sleep cycle and stuff, is to make sure you're consistent with it. Um, if your body's used to waking up at noon every day, that's just kind of how it is. So yeah, you waking up early, like at that point, is for sure uh, tossing your body's like rhythm off. See, so the chicken nuggets are really good, but what really ties it is this honey mustard sauce. Brings it all together. Gonna reduce that heat because we're getting extra bubbly. Oh, the fridge is making noise. I'm like, there's weird noises. Squires, today when Jeff told you to throw your computer, sell your computer for coffee, we were at work and I looked at him and I said, Jeff, that's how he does his work. Jeff was very determined to have you get a coffee grinder today. I think I grabbed like one of the ones that's just heated up. For those that weren't here earlier, a little quarter chicken. Hello, this is the inside of the honey nugget. Kind of put it in the light. I am made with fresh meat. The freshest. Exactly. I get it. It's just a vicious cycle. Sam was asking earlier if I have you Onishan, maybe have you seen any like vegetarian or vegan style nuggets? That's unfortunate. And put a timer on again. Okay. That's why I was almost curious if like the Impossible or the Beyond like group has done anything. And I'm gonna check the temperature on this. These are done, I think. Dangerous. We were playing a dangerous game, self. Turn off the oil. Bloop. And now we will just have a pile of nuggets. Oh my gosh, please. They keep trying to like slip out of the tongs here. There are a pile of nuggets. Let's switch back. To me with a pile of nuggets. Woo-hoo-hoo. There's a whole pile of them. Yep. Now we got a grumpy dog. So I've done my deed. I have made the chicken nugs, which were delicious. But I do have roast veggies. I'm trying to balance it out a little bit. Whoop, whoop. Delicious. Oh. So yeah, like most frying things, that did take a bit. It takes a while. Just because there's a lot of like making a set, finishing, making a set, finishing, and repeating. No, there are no mushrooms. So this has cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and red onion. Yeah.
The boiling hot ones.
Oh, which ones are the hot ones? I'm like, I don't know which ones are the hot ones. Yeah, Brussels sprouts are real nice. Especially roasted. I've learned the correct way to do them. Super simple. Super delicious. I have made a meal. So, I think I am going to wrap up then. Something I do want to check, because I am going to move y'all to another cooking streamer probably. I want to see who's on. Because now I have a lot of options, because there's a stream team of a bunch of other cooks. The Bone In team, which I've recently joined. And there's a lot of individuals. I want to see if anyone is actually cooking. Yeah. Okay. If anyone's not hungry enough. But no, we have to share it. I mean, people associate Twitch only with games, but there's a lot of other cooking streamers. There's a lot of us. So I am gonna send you all to Klinkit. She does a lot of recipes and stuff. She's pretty big in the Zelda community. What did it say she was doing right now? I can read. I do wonder that sometimes, but we'll see. I said that like a few times today. It's at work trying to figure out what to... Ooh. She's making some poutine with some homemade cheese curds. Heck yeah. So I'm going to send you over all you over to her stream. I want to say, wrap up, say thank you very much for stopping by. And that you all have a wonderful evening. My next stream should be Friday at around noon Central Time. It is going to be a test kitchen or kind of like a recipe prep thing, so we'll see. I'll be cooking something. Don't know what yet exactly, but it'll be a bunch of prepping for the weekend. So yeah. You all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Love y'all. Bye.